Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to discuss how to feel cute every day, how to feel like you're on the ball every day. And I'm saying every day for title purposes, but I just want to say right off the bat, if you don't feel cute every single day of your life, that is in fact normal. And don't let anybody convince you that it's otherwise. And I'm not really strictly an advice channel. I talk about multiple different topics, but I think this topic as it relates to appearance is relevant since I talk about fashion, lifestyle, and also magic and spirituality. So I'm going to be incorporating some of those elements as well. The first way, in my experience, to feel cute every day is to wear clothes that you like, but that you also like the way that they look on you. This is pretty common advice, but I think sometimes people fall into the trap of, oh, well, I have a triangle body shape, and this article from Cosmopolitan that was posted in 2008 says that triangles can only wear XYZ. You don't really want to go about it in that way. I think that it can be useful to consider your body shape and stuff like that, but sometimes that's getting very micro, when on a more macro level, you can literally just look for celebrities or public figures that kind of look like you. You may not be able to find an exact replica of your body type because obviously certain kinds of bodies are more common in Hollywood than others. But if you just find somebody that looks like you and that you kind of like the general feel of their style and seek to emulate that and buy pieces that look like the things that they wear, that should help you feel confident. Because I think we've all, especially the younger you are, the more that you go through this, of seeing something online that you're like, wow, that's gorgeous, I love that. But then you go to put it on and you're like, why do I not like the way this looks on me? It feels like it fits weird and you don't really know how to explain why you think it doesn't look good on you. So then you just feel bad about yourself. I had to learn this with oversized clothes. It's not that I don't wear anything oversized. I just don't always gravitate towards it because in my experience, I felt like instead of looking intentional on my body type, it just looked frumpy and unintentional and like my clothes just didn't fit me. And whether that's because of society standards or not, I'm not going to get into. One of the people that I look at for my style blueprint is Sydney Sweeney. Not in the sense that I look exactly like her or in the sense that I copy her personal taste to a T, but more so, her and I were both white women. We both have bigger eyes and we both have a bigger chest. Hers is obviously bigger than mine, but this is why I said it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be exact. But I noticed that she would wear a lot of things that, as opposed to just a regular neckline like this, she would wear a lot of square necklines like this. And I know that I've seen a lot of people wear plunging necklines specifically to emphasize the chest, but that's not necessarily what I was going for. I wanted to wear something that I felt like my chest was adding to, but it wasn't the main focus, if that makes sense. It's not that I wanted to accentuate it. I just didn't want it to look like I was trying to make up for it and wearing something that doesn't fully fit, right? I don't know the entire reasoning, but cuts like this look very flattering. And I learned that from Sydney Sweeney and looking at her red carpet looks and stuff. My second tip for how to feel cute every day is to have certain jewelry that you default to. So my default jewelry is I usually have some kind of like earring in, and I most of the time wear this like gold chain. I also have these splint rings that I wear every day. Jewelry is one of the main ways that I think very simple outfits can be elevated to look more stylish and fashionable. How many girls do you see on Pinterest who have just a plain white t-shirt, jeans, and then a ton of jewelry on, and you're like, wow, saving that to the board. Like, girl, what was so groundbreaking about that? It's just the use of accessories. And I think that this doesn't always naturally occur to people, or at least it didn't really naturally occur to me. Because it's kind of like, why am I putting on earrings and a necklace to go to the grocery store when it's literally just a t-shirt and jeans? But you can find a way to not make it look over the top, to make it still casual yet elevated and stylish. Pinterest is a great resource for outfit inspiration, but also there are a lot of links to jewelry on there. And you do have to be careful when you're buying anything that is linked on Pinterest, because a lot of the sites I feel can sometimes be scam websites. But there are also real brands on there. I like to buy from En Route, Pandora, Swarovski, Oomiyay, which to this day I actually do not know how to pronounce that. Oomiyay. And you can read reviews, but sometimes there are brands that I've never in my life had a problem with, but people are like, my piece fell apart in 2 days. And I'm like, girl, what did you do to it? What did you do to your ring, girl? Did you dip it in acid and that's why the gold came off? All those brands I just listed have like varying price points, but in general, if you're gonna do a default jewelry situation, you either want it to be real, so real solid gold or real silver or real whatever material, or you want it to be a nice plated thing. If it doesn't specifically say that it's waterproof, take it off when you shower. And even if it does say it's waterproof, if you really want to prolong the life of the jewelry, take it off. But even without water getting involved, just from constant wear, you're going to want it to be something that's plated, and you're not going to want something that the brass is going to immediately start showing through as soon as you wear it for more than 5 minutes, because in the long run, that just wastes you more money. Accessories are often overlooked, but they are most of the time what makes or breaks your outfit and whether or not you love it. My previous 2 points about feeling cute were more directly related to physical appearance, but this third one I'm going to talk about is more of like a self-work, self-help type thing, because I believe that this truly and genuinely works. I don't consider myself to be 100% a self-help channel, but I do watch them. I have some type of like complex about being categorized into like any one category, so I feel like I have to announce it all the time, like I'm not a fashion channel, I'm not, so just like ignore me when I say shit like that. But I feel like some self-help channels can quickly cross the line into being overwhelming for people, to the point where girls, or whatever, if you don't like the term girl, just insert the term you like, so that girls feel like it doesn't even work and it's completely unapproachable. I love Tam Carr. I watch her videos all the time. But one criticism that I would have of Tam and her videos, if you were to take them at face value and think that you need to emulate them, is that a lot of the stuff that she's doing in these videos is most likely only accessible to her because of her lifestyle and because of the fact that this is her job. So anybody can get an LED light mask, right, if they save up for it, but it's unlikely that you're going to be able to have the time or the money to do the light mask and the facial and the greens powder and the supplements and the this and the that. Sometimes it's just about picking a few things and sticking to it. One of the wellness habits that I think has been most effective in changing my self-confidence and so that I feel good about myself more of the time is journaling. And in order to really get the full impact in regards to appearance-related problems, you're going to have to search up prompts about appearance. But what I've realized through self-examination and just through getting older, I say as if I'm like 65 years old, I'm only 22, but through getting older, I've realized that those people who you sit there and you think, how are they so confident? How do they believe that they're beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, whatever? Some of them don't. They just don't care as much as you do. And I know that sounds like kind of dismissive. This is only going to apply to like a certain subset of people, where if you have struggled with maybe like an ED or body dysmorphia or any kind of like serious appearance related obsession or crisis and too much self-awareness, this is going to resonate with you, I feel. Other people know sometimes that they're not the most beautiful, exquisite model on earth, but they're okay with it and they don't think about it all the time. They're like, I'm good enough. Whereas there is some type of thing that some of us have within us that we can't take that. We have to be one of the prettiest, because what else is there, right? And I dealt with that a lot when I was really young, because I came from an environment where that was extremely emphasized to me, that was like super, super important. And if I wasn't pretty, and I got bullied because I was told that I was overweight, even though I wasn't. I was just going through puberty earlier than they were at the time. And I got bullied for being ugly and unattractive. And that made my life horrible. It ruined my social relationships. I felt like, wow, people are really neglecting me and not liking me because I'm not pretty. And so I internalized this, and I held that belief for so long that if I'm not pretty, horrible things will happen. And I've just got to tell you that in the real world, most of the time, that's not how it ends up being. And it's not like hearing this information is going to magically take those thoughts and feelings away from you. But it was something I misunderstood for a long time. I was like, how are other people okay with just being themselves and just with who they are? And why are they not so consumed by the things that I'm consumed by? That was really a challenge for me, because I was like, well, is there something wrong? It kind of reinforces the idea that you are just that bad, that you have to obsess over these things. But you know, it's not true. It's possible to still have goals, but if you are somebody who is like has this history of latching onto things, you have to be very cautious, and maybe you can't always take the routes and shortcuts that other people take, because it can make you wildly unhealthy mentally, physically, to be in those habits, and they are legitimately dangerous. It's kind of like an alcoholic. It's not the exact same. Everybody has a varying degrees of a history with eating issues or body issues. Not everybody is to that level, but it's like some people who used to drink alcohol find themselves okay with having a glass every once in a while, but there are plenty of people who just know they're never going to drink again. They do not care. They're not going to put themselves in that situation. So I think you have to judge and be aware of your personal makeup and what you can and cannot handle. That's why journaling, circling back, you want to become aware and conscious of a lot of these things. And over time, as you live your life more, you're going to realize that being beautiful, as important as it feels, is not nearly as important as it seems. I think sometimes TikTok trends can really make this a lot worse with all the discussion of pretty privilege. And that honestly truly bothers me, because maybe to an extent, is there just an innate pretty privilege? Maybe. But I think who truly most of the time is able to benefit from pretty privilege in the smallest ways is just people who take care of themselves, who look like they have worked trying to put themselves together, who seem like they have good hygiene. Like, those are the ways that the average person who doesn't have money for plastic surgeries or whatever can benefit from pretty privilege. It's really just self-respect privilege sometimes. Don't let talks of pretty privilege discourage you. It's all about getting to a space that you can feel comfortable with and that you are not desperate to get out of. That's it. When you have that baseline of, you know what, I'm okay. I may not be perfect. I may have certain parts of myself I don't like, which is 100% normal. It is normal to have some parts of you that are not your favorite and that you don't love. You're not failing because you aren't meeting the 100% mark of, I love everything about myself. There's not something wrong with you because of that, and you don't need to use that as another reason to make yourself feel badly. Just say, okay, maybe I don't like my arms, or maybe I don't like my hips. Just do your best to dress in a way that hides or doesn't accentuate those things. It's okay to do that. Maybe at some point in the future, you won't need to do that anymore. But instead of like tearing yourselves to shreds because you're not perfect, it's okay to get to a place where you have a few insecurities and you dress and act in a way where you try to not emphasize them so you can exist comfortably. It's all about working with your mental state, working with your physical state, and being very introspective about that, putting it down on paper and coming up with a way of living that works for you. Tip number 4 is also in the self-help vein, and it's about building self-trust. Having a morning routine and a night routine isn't always about cramming as much in there as you possibly can. It is about doing something that makes you feel good in the morning and at night, and something that you can maintain. Because if you can't maintain it, you are going to feel bad about yourself and you're going to feel negative, which is way more of a negative impact on you than not having a morning or night routine. If you're not holding yourself to any standards, sometimes ironically you feel better than when you are holding yourself to the highest standards that you can't meet. You want to be realistic. If it's not realistic for you because you work just a 9-to-5 job, if it's not realistic for you to do a face mask and LED light therapy and have your greens powder and work out before you go to work, don't do that. Make your morning routine. Every morning I get up, I have a cup of coffee, and I just make sure I eat some food before I leave. If that is where you're at, where you haven't been able to like make time for a meal for yourself, just that one thing is going to make you feel so much freaking better about yourself if you're able to consistently work at making that a part of your everyday. And if you slip up, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but if you consistently try and make an honest effort to show up for these goals that you've set, you will feel more confident, and by extension, you will like the way that you look more. It seems indirect, it seems like it wouldn't make any sense, but the way that we look, appearance-wise, is all about perceptions. There is no true objective reality of how we look. The closest you can get to objective reality is the number on the scale and like just standard normal descriptors. Like, oh, so my objective reality is I have pale skin, I have an average build. I'm not going to say my actual weight because I don't like doing that. That's objective reality. But whether those things are good or bad depends on the person. In some cultures, the goal is to be as pale as possible. In other cultures, people don't like to be pale and they want to do self-tan, and some people are more insecure about that. My paleness is never something that has really bothered me, but I know there are girls who it does bother them and they put a lot of time and energy into self-tanning, whatever, and they feel bad without it. It's all about perception. It's all a matter of opinion. To look one way is not inherently worse than looking another way. And how you perceive the inside of yourself and how you perceive the way you show up in the world, at a certain point you may be like, you know what, I feel good and I like the way I look today because I'm going to go do something that really matters to me. It's just about this holistic view of self-confidence where doing small things to take care of your body can make you feel good on the inside, and then doing things that make your inside feel better can make you feel better about your outside, because it's all an illusion. It's all in your head. It's all in everybody's head. How many people do you see on X, Twitter, really? I hate calling it X. We're like, Sydney Sweeney is mid, Zendaya is mid, such and such is mid. And they're like female celebrities that are known to be extremely beautiful and who set the trends for a lot of people in terms of physical appearance and set the standard. People saying they're mid, they're ugly, they're not attracted to them. The guy who plays Thor, I'm not remembering his name right now, and the guy who plays Captain America, he's renowned for being, or both of them are renowned for being super exquisitely beautiful, and that all the women love them. And I can recognize that they're attractive, but they're not attractive to me, as in I'm not attracted to them. It's all subjective. The last tip is about putting the effort in when possible to do extra hygiene steps like moisturizing. Or for some people, that's not a given. So I don't want to hear any sassy things like, ew, you guys aren't even moisturizing. Some people struggle. I don't want to make them feel bad, right? If the extra thing for you is just going the mile by moisturizing, then do that, because it'll make you feel like, wow, I really took care of myself right now. I really am putting the effort in. Just the process of doing these things and doing things to your appearance, it's going to inherently make you feel like you look better. If you're starting from a really bad baseline, you may not feel like, oh, I feel like I look good now. But you may just feel like, okay, you know what? I'm just not going to think about that right now. It's okay. So to summarize all the points that I just said, first point, as much as sometimes we like the way that things look on other people, it's much more important for the way that we feel about ourselves to find things that we feel flatter us and that compliment us instead of trying to be somebody else. Second point, accessories can really make a simple outfit that wasn't very expensive feel more expressive and make you feel like you look better. This is an often overlooked step because sometimes people feel like it doesn't really matter, but it adds so much. Third is journaling to become aware of why you maybe feel negatively about yourself or what's going on in your head when you feel negatively about yourself and what you should and shouldn't do. So if you get really upset every time you weigh yourself, maybe sometimes you just shouldn't weigh yourself. I'm not necessarily saying to avoid everything that's challenging for you, but I think you guys kind of understand what I mean, in that there is a point to where something is just too much for you at that time. Maybe in the future, you'll be able to do a calorie deficit if you genuinely truly need to lose weight. You'll be able to do a calorie deficit that doesn't send you into a spiral, but you're gonna need some distance from whatever bad things are going on in your head. And if you're not at a terrible baseline, journaling like that can just keep your head above water, because everybody's going to have challenging experiences and things that make them feel bad about themselves, whether they get rejected by somebody that they liked or ghosted by someone they were dating, or maybe they get overlooked for a job, which ironically, sometimes one bad thing happening leads back to, oh my God, I'm ugly. Oh no, I didn't get this job. Somehow it becomes, I'm ugly. I know other people have experienced that before. When one thing upsets you, you get upset about everything. That's why it's all interconnected. Tip 4 was about building your internal confidence and sense of self by sticking to routines and things that are important to you to build your trust in yourself and to make you like yourself more. Tip number 5 is similar to tip number 4, but it's more centered on specifically appearance and hygiene related steps. So going the extra mile by putting perfume on or exfoliating or doing an everything shower, that can really change the way you feel about yourself. And right at the end too, I want to add the element of, since appearances are all about perception, that is why the concept of glamour magic is such an effective thing. If you don't know what glamour magic is in witchcraft, glamour magic is essentially any kind of spell that you do with the intention to change the way that you appear to other people or even to yourself. You can do it like on yourself, to yourself also, and change the way that you come across to other people. So if you were to do a spell to make you more charismatic in a job interview, people would just simply perceive you as more charismatic. And if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely research glamour magic spells on Pinterest and wherever else. I'm not going to do one in today's video, but if you're interested on other spell videos that I did, I can link them in like a card. I can also do specifically a glamour magic video in the future if you're interested. But I've seen very commonly enchanting lip products or enchanting mirrors. I've also seen a lot of enchanting perfumes. So just enchanting objects themselves is one very common glamour magic technique. I've also seen your more standard candle magic spells or your sachets that you keep on your person. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope it was helpful. And comment a full moon emoji down below if you watched until the end to let me know if you're a real one. And you can also let me know, did you resonate with any of the points that I made in this video? Do you have personal experience doing any of these things and it improving the way that you feel about yourself? Share your story if that's the case, because I think it'll be very motivating to people who are unsure if doing any of these things would actually make them feel better about themselves. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.